So, even more Marvel Legends. And this time, they got my money. Let's talk about it. So, there was a Hasbro Pulse, and they announced some Marvel Legends, and the last two main announcements, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was the last two, I wanted very little or nothing. I know from the last one I wanted nothing. It was an entire video game one, and about the only thing I would want is if they would re-release the Spider-Man PS4, Spider-Man PlayStation 4, whatever, Spider-Man costume. That's the only one I liked, or the only one I cared about. Everything else from this has just not caught my attention. Like they were like, hey, here's Black Cat. Did I like the way she looked in the game? Yes. But do I want her on the shelf? No. If I'm going to pick a Black Cat to put on the shelf, I don't know if they've honestly made it yet. They have a decent one in the Retro Card Spider-Man line, but it's decent. It's not what I'm wanting yet. In fact, I've been put off from many female characters lately because I feel like we're right at that edge of seeing all of them start to be made with the newer body bucks. And we're at the edge, I say, because some are still being made with the old body buck, and it shows. And some of them are being made with newer body bucks, kind of bringing them up to the modern scale, and it shows. There's a huge difference between them releasing, like, one character where you're like, this body seems kind of old, like I'm noticing it doesn't really move that well, and yada yada, and then going and getting the recent Jean Grey. Like, it feels different. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, the Jean Grey 97, was that on an older body? It may have been. It's hard for me to remember necessarily without pulling it off the shelf, but I feel like that was on an older body, and then they immediately followed that up with a Phoenix, which was on a newer body, and it's noticeable. It's noticeable. So I'm at that point where I'm kind of skipping a lot of them, being like, look, it may be a couple years before we see it again, but like, I don't think I'm going to waste my money. Well, getting to save a little bit of cash, because when they release a wave that I don't want, it honestly doesn't make me mad. It doesn't bother me at all, honestly. And if they release a wave and I only want one, aside from the fact when they make it like a Build-A-Figure thing and maybe the Build-A-Figure is the thing I want, that drives me crazy. But if it's just like, hey, I want this one character, I guess I'll be stuck with a weird leg or whatever, but that's the only thing I want, and I go get it. I'm fine with that. I'd rather have one good character that really speaks to me in a line sometimes than want the whole line. It's just the way that I feel about it. Well, they got me on... The first thing that got me was right here. Let's go ahead and make me small. And I took all of these images on the phone, so I have no idea how they're going to look. I was watching during my break and whatnot, and I took some images, and I wanted to come right here and talk about them. And here we go. I saw this. They were like, look, remember that Tobey Maguire Spider-Man that you bought? And I'm like, I do, because I remember it's on a really bad body, and I expected more from you. And they're like, well, we used it again. And I'm like, again with the same bad body? Wonderful. And they're like, but this is the black suit Spider-Man. And I'm like, which wasn't all that impressive back when they did it in the Tobey Maguire movies, because, like, I mean, it just doesn't look that great. And they're like, but if you're going to have this Spider-Man, and I was like, no, don't. And they pulled this one up, and they said, Bully Maguire, basically. And I was like, oh, crap. I want it. I want it. I shouldn't want it. But I do. I want that head sculpt. That head sculpt is the whole reason I want this, and that sucks. I'm basically going to have to sit here and talk myself out of it, and I basically have like 2 days to do it or something like that, like a day to do it by the time this video posts. And that bites. That really, really bites. But hey, what are you going to do, right? But they got me on this one, I think, unless I can talk myself out of it, which more than likely I probably can, but I don't know. Chances are this might hit me and I really want that head sculpt. We'll see how I'm sitting when it comes down to doing it. Like this, it's so bad that I love it. And that's what sucks about it. Then they announced a Weapon X Wolverine, and this one caught my attention 1,000%. Because, for one, I don't have this yet. I know a lot of people already have it. And so this is an update for them. But for me, aside from years and years and years and years and years ago, like back with the original 90s X-Men figures that I was getting for the cartoon line, I have not had a Weapon X. This would be the first time I ever owned a decent Weapon X with all the movement and everything. And he's pinless, and he even has these agony hands, which this might be the first time I've ever seen this, where the hands are open and the claws are out. That might be the first time I've ever seen that. So this is cool. Like, this really, really takes it and makes me kind of want it. And, I don't think I feel bad about wanting it. Like, well, of course I don't feel bad about wanting anything that I want. But, like, what I'm saying is that I've never had one of these, so it wouldn't even be an update for me. It would just be a straight up new fantastic figure, and I'd really be into that. Target exclusive bothers me. Makes me wonder if I'll even be able to get it, because Target exclusives are a real pain. It could be an absolute nightmare to try to get your hands on these. But he looks good. He got my attention. Next, they talked about a new Mystique. Now, I have a Mystique, but it's the movie Mystique. And this looks fantastic. Like, she just looks great. Like, no joke. I'm really, really into this. You could argue the hair is wrong, but I don't think that I care that much. I think that this looks fantastic. I think that I'm on board for it. I like the white dress look. I've always liked it. I mean, it's classic. What can you say about it? I like the skull belt. It's a simple looking figure for what it is. Very few paint ops, but I don't need it to be anything too special. I need it to work, and that's exactly what this looks like it's going to do. But we are back to the old bodies again. That is an older body, right? Look, we're getting better. This is an in-between step. Like, she's got the double elbows, she's got all the leg articulation, but her torso is back to the old torso from what I'm seeing. The same torso we've seen used in 60 to 100 different female characters, and quite frankly, it's about time we moved on from it. So that gives me worry about this figure. But enough to skip it, that I don't know, because this is my chance at a very, very good Mystique. They may have got me on this. Also, it's coming with the Jean Grey. It's coming with an updated version of the Jean Grey head from the Hellfire Club. And that is interesting to me. That I kind of like quite a bit. Do I have a use for it? No, because unless they're going to release that figure again, I don't have that figure. One could argue, though, you could buy the Goblin Queen and with some minor modification, put that head on it and have a decent stand-in for a Black Queen. So there is that possibility as well. Next, this is what I'm here for. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I said this back when they released this figure. I said, what I want now is I want them to repaint this for Fantastic Four, and they have done just that. We have a Fantastic Four She-Hulk right there. Now, this is one of those in-betweens again. I don't think it is a body designed specifically for her, and it works for her. And I've had no real complaints about the one that I currently have. So I'm at this weird stepping stone, like I said, with the female bodies, where I feel like this is almost there. But I feel like we've seen figure now that's coming out that's starting to use the lower ab crunches and whatnot. And quite frankly, I think we need those. I think that it's time to move the female line forward, which is often the one that's left in the dust. Like, they're just now starting to get some of the male bodies, basically, that the males had forever. And as the males have gotten even more impressive now, and then we finally got the Black Widow body and saw that they can do good female bodies, they're choosing not to. And that's this right here. But even after saying that, I liked this She-Hulk. And I feel like I will like this She-Hulk. I love that she comes with big barbells. I think that's absolutely fantastic. Dumbbells? Whatever. But I like this a lot. It's Fantastic Four. I love that she's got the pulled hair back. I kind of like that. I think that's cool. And I just feel like this makes me want to use her and Power Girl and do like some workout session photographs. Like, I like this. And I love that they gave her the thumb and the peace sign. That is awesome. Or the victory, or whatever you want to call that. I think that's fantastic. This is absolutely fantastic. This has my money. No question about it. 100%. I am on board for it. Thank you for this. Because every time I get to add an official Fantastic Four looking thing to the shelf and add on to my Fantastic Four costume, absolutely fantastic. I'm 100% here for it. And you can see this is 100% a repaint. But there is an upgrade. It is minor, and I think it is something they learned from screwing up the last one in paint. I said this a long time ago, back when I very first got this figure. The knees have always seemed odd to me because they're painted different than the rest of the legs. That's always kind of bugged me. I notice it all the time. Here, it looks like they saw that this was a mistake and they fixed it. And now, the whole leg and skin tone seems right across the entire figure, and I don't have that weird bright knee problem. And it might sound minor, but if I'm going to buy a repaint, it is repainted very well, and it's exactly what I wanted. And after seeing this, I can 100% guarantee that if I knew the kind of paint that I would need, there is a simple repaint trick to this figure, a custom that I kind of wish I could do. I wish she had feet. Like nude feet. Because I would buy one of these bucks, paint it all green, and create that jump rope. You remember the old panels with the jump rope? I would do that myself. I would do that just to have it on the shelf, and I would purposely cover up her bits and whatnot with the jump rope, and I would create that effect for the shelf where she's just jumping rope. I would do that. That is a goofy, ridiculous, calling out the industry on its own stuff panel, and I've always kind of loved it, and I always thought she was definitely the one to deliver that fun little quip. And it just really sits with me, and it's something that I love, and I just kind of wish that I could make that. They're not going to make that. I would have to go out of my way to make that because of what I'm basically talking about. They're not about to make a nude body. That's not going to happen. But I don't want to see her bits. I just want that jump rope thing. But there she is. This is utterly fantastic. Like, she just is great. She's what I'm looking forward to the most, surprisingly. But second place ain't so bad. Finally, I have been waiting to put a Hulk on my shelf. Like a solid, real Hulk. Like a green Hulk. I don't have one. I have a gray Hulk. And I only bought it because it was on sale. And I like Gray Hulk for what it was worth. And I figured I could use it for my Fantastic Four, new Fantastic Four. And so that worked for me. I was into that. I said, this is perfect. This is what I want. And I bought it. It was on sale. And I got a Bruce banner and everything. And everything was fine. But I've been saying for a while now, even with that in my possession, what I want specific is a green Hulk. I want a green Hulk for the building of my Avengers. And I'm not trying to build them fast. I'm picking up a part here and a part here as I go. And sooner or later, I will have a great Avengers team on the shelf as they release things that really catch my eye. And look, say what you will about this Maximum series. I know how people feel about it. If he maintains that $50 price point, and I'm very, very feeling like he won't, but if he does, he may in a way justify the line. I know people are mad about the Spider-Man. I'm not going to get into it here. You will figure out how I feel about that when I get it. But, that being said, this right here could justify the line. Because even if you feel the Spider-Man is overpriced, if they maintain a $50 price point across the line, and we keep getting cool stuff, like the missile that gets shot at him, and the effects that he comes with, and the multiple heads, and some figures are going to be bigger, some figures are going to be smaller, some figures need a whole lot of new work, some figures only need so much new work, and you know what? That would be fine. That would be fine. And this Hulk is the first ever to be able to move in a way that allows him all that movement. That's a lot of movement to the point where he can actually put his hands together. He can clap his hands. And that is really, really cool. Like, it's really cool. Sorry about that. That was probably a hard cut, but my phone started ringing and I needed to answer it and figure out what was going on. But yeah, this is going to be good. Now, I could argue I see a problem. We're still dealing with the arms that stop at this much bend. I don't know how buff you have to be to not be able to do this anymore. Like, I don't know at what point you become so buff that your arms can no longer do this. Because even some of the biggest dudes I've seen in my entire life are still doing curls. And when they curl, they don't come up to only here and stop because they're like, oh my God, I'm such a beefcake. I can't lift my arms any further. My biceps are in the way. Like, that doesn't happen. They lift all the way up. They go to the chest. They go down. They go up. They go to the chest. This dude is big. But like, why are we still doing this with the arms? This is the Maximum series. Okay? And now, the video has to become a little bit of something. I am on board for what the Maximum series claims to be doing. It wants to update Marvel Legends to the best possible version of Marvel Legends of these figures. That's its goal. And let's be honest about why that's its goal. Because they know that they are currently losing business to people that are buying outside of Marvel Legends. Because there are other choices now. You could buy a Mafex Spider-Man. He costs more than the Maximum Spider-Man. And some would argue that's for a reason. He's better. I don't want any of the argument controversy when it comes right down to it because it doesn't interest me. I bought it and I'll talk about it when I get it. But that being said, if you wish to update your line, and if you wish to charge more money, and if you wish to compete in the premium circle, because that's what we're doing now. That's what we have decided to do. We are competing in a new price range. See, when I buy a $30 Power Girl, that's right, the mandatory Power Girl appearance, the reason I think she's utterly fantastic is because I paid $30. And she looks great, and she moves well, and she's got an absolutely fantastic face sculpt, and her body dimensions, they work. And the cape is wireframe, not just on the sides, but on the bottom. Fully 100% wireframe movable cape, and thick too. The cape feels thick. Everything about her works for me. There are paint apps where I feel paint apps exist. There's detail where I feel detail exists. Now, that all being said, she was $30. Charge me $60 for that Power Girl. And all of a sudden you have stepped into a new argument. We are at a new price point, and we do not let certain things go at those price points. That is when we start saying $60, no second head, no laser effect. We start asking questions. We get a little more serious. No flight stand. Now, Marvel, you want to play in the Hasbro, you want to play in the higher charge bracket. You want to make the money. You want to charge the extra pennies, which I'm not saying you don't deserve. Okay? I'm really not. But if you are to do this, you are now held to the scrutiny of what that extra money means. And case in point, you added butterflies. And you are still using the 90-degree stopping arm. Now, it's possible that there's not much they could do about it. His muscles may be literally too large. And maybe we'll see a better idea on something like Colossus, where he's big, but he's a little bit smaller, and his bicep might not get in his way in terms of the articulation, and he may be able to bring his arm all the way up. I don't know. I can't say that for sure. I can say that this Hulk moves better than the other ones. But I can say that I'm watching him catch that missile, and that's as high as his elbow will go. He has a 90-degree stopping arc because his muscles are in the way. Was there no way to give him a bigger range? I don't know. Maybe not. We have this like clap effect thing where the actual air is moving, and that's just a movement effect. So that's actually cool because you can lock that with the punches too. So you can be like, whoo, bow, and like land punches, and maybe depending on how that works, that can switch and be used with other characters as well, which would be cool. We got multiple different heads. We got a good style here. We got the toe articulation, which is kind of wild. We don't have an ab crunch, and lower ab crunch, but we have the lower ab turn, and that might be fine for Hulk, because I don't see Hulk getting into Spider-Man poses. That is agreeable. I will not argue with that. The only thing that I'm complaining about right now is I feel like there had to be a way to give him a little more leeway in the arm. And maybe it is arguable, because I don't have this in hand, maybe it is arguable that it does have a lot more leeway in the arms than we are used to. Maybe, just maybe, those arms, because the biceps are crazy, Hulk is big, he's the biggest. Maybe he has no choice but to be built like that, but even built like that, he has a better 90-degree curve than, say, what we're getting out of the Thing right now. Or other Hulks. I don't know. I'll have to see it. They talked about this part up here being a softer material, probably some kind of rubberized thing or something like that, which is nice because they've now hidden the butterflies underneath, kind of like Storm Collectible. They kind of hide a lot of the articulation under a soft body type of thing, like what you'll see with Taki and figures like that. That may be a direction to go. It might make a lot of sense. Will that deteriorate over time and stop holding and start getting in your way? We don't know. That's the thing about these soft parts, is you never know exactly how it's going to hold up throughout the years on your toy. That could be a problem years down the road, or it could like decolor as time goes. It could change its color faster than the rest of the figure. And that could be a problem. Hey, these are toys. If you've ever been to a toy show and looked at classic toys that are like in the bin, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. We don't know how these toys are going to hold up until they're about 10, 15 years in. That's just a fact. This, I seen them trying to do this effect, and on this picture here, looks like they did it perfect. But when he was trying to do it, he was like, and then we got this really cool effect that can kind of rest on his hands, and he couldn't do it. And he didn't fight with it either. He tried to put it on there, it didn't work, and then he just kind of let it fall to the side. And then he tried to take attention away from it by being like, oh, this effect also, like if he has like a bigger figure and he like punches him, you could put that effect, you know, on the back of a character's neck. You can rest that on the back of a character's neck. I'm going to have to see that thing in action. I'm going to have to see that effect in action, and I haven't seen it work yet. That could be a useless piece of plastic. I don't know. That effect does not have me sold right now. Catching the missile. I like how the missile's like a full missile and it's got the fire and everything, but he can also, you could take the fire off and then he could break the missile and throw the warhead back. That's cool. Hey guys, this guy is good. This is the Hulk for me. That's the Maximum series so far. The question at this point is, are we going to see an even more expensive Maximum now? Will Hulk be like $60 or $70 because he's big? Or will that $50 range cover the fact that every figure is going to have to make up for the other figures? So you release Spider-Man, you charge a little more than he's actually worth. Arguably. And then you release Hulk and you charge basically what he's worth, or maybe a little less than he's actually worth in production-wise. But you know you're going to make up for that with the rest of the line. I just lost one of my stage lights. That's a question, and it's a real question. Do I have an answer for that question? Absolutely not. Why would I? But that's where I am right now. And those are the items that interested me from this, from the Hasbro Pulse, from the Pulse today, from the Marvel Legends reveals. Those are the things that caught my attention. What are you looking to get? What do you think about this stuff? What are your problems with the lines currently, or what are you just absolutely loving? You know, it's not a crime to sometimes just be happy with your toys. You know that, right? You know that we don't always have to be cynical collectors that are like, oh, why didn't they this? And why didn't they that? Sometimes we can just be happy that we have it at all. And sometimes I am. And right now, most of what I'm seeing, while I can be a critic at heart, I love this hobby. I think that we are in the golden age of adult collecting. I honestly do. I even have a video talking about it if you're interested. And I'm going to get out of here. Later.
I have spoken. Take what you will from it.